Hey folks, this is Bill from Little White Dory and Iona Homestead, and I'm downstairs in the basement in a small house on Long Island on the South Shore. It is damp and it's cool. Floor temperature is probably about 60 degrees about now, maybe 62. I have some heating pads. Let me flip my camera around and I'll show you my current growing room. Yeah, let me just flip this around. It'll make more sense. Okay, so as you can see, and I'm going to turn one of these lights off so it's not blinding us. There we go. This is the newest grow rack, which I have currently one set of 4 trays. Let's come in a little closer. This one is, let's see, we've got 2 different things. It's kind of tricky, and I don't really care because it's all going the same place, but these are called Pretty and Sweet little hybrids. These are long, thin cayennes, poblanos, pepperoncinis. Then I have over on this rack over here, which is an older design, so to speak. Here I'm taking advantage of the full shelf plus the wheels. Here I actually cut sections off so that it could actually fit underneath my floor joists. So over here on more heat pads we have, let's see, some yellow, canary yellow bells, some red bells, some cubanelles, some orange bells, serrano, Guayamo Alta, tam jalapeno, pumpkin spice jalapeno, and each one of these has something on the other side, I think with the exception of the bell peppers. Yeah, so these are 50 cells, so there's 50 cells of bell pepper on these. And these got put into place yesterday. Today is, let's see, what is today? I think today is the 13th, Friday the 13th of February, 2026. So what I did was, I'm kind of color coding this a little bit. You'll see that these trays are pink on the bottom. Forget about the covers, they're just temporary. These are blue. These are green. Those are my first seeds for this year, and I'll know that because they're the ones that have the colored trays. Doesn't matter what color, they're just the ones that are going to come out first. Now let's see if I come around this way. This is where I tend to do my work, and you'll see that I have some trays set up and ready to fill. These are just waiting for seeds. I'll have my seeds laid out, so I'll be doing some large cherry poppers, some friarellos, some sweet bananas, and what do we got up here? Habaneros. I don't know, I think I already have a habanero, so I don't know that I'll do another one. And then, you know, I have a ton of seeds over here. I'm not even gonna bother looking. And somewhere around here I had a catalog that I was getting some more stuff. So back over to here. This shelf has got all of my supplies for this year. So these are my trays that I'll be taking off. I might take them off and stack them in the corner when I need that space, but I generally don't need that space too quickly. Same as under here and here. These will be spaces that will allow me to have some things in here a lot longer. I may bail out on that and raise this shelf up and make it more like that. We'll see. I've got another one up here that's fairly tall, so we're talking about weeks of growth. In the middle here, these two, this and this is a little larger, so my real game plan is to take these heat pads, just use them temporarily, get these things started, and then just turn the heat off and use them as rows, shelves with lights. Same over here. On the shelving unit over here, let's see, I'm going to turn around because this is going to show you the 2 different ones. So over here, I have, this is another setup where I have on the bottom, the shelves are much closer together. It's also warmer on the floor, so when I put the heating pads on, you know, they're doing some work, but it gives me space on the floor that I wouldn't really grow much otherwise. Then they'll come out and they can graduate up to taller spaces as the plants grow. Same here. Oh no, this is just a storage shelf, excuse me. This one is the other one. So same thing here. The bottom shelf here is tall enough to put a dome on it. This one's only tall enough for a low solid cover. Again, they get bigger, 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 and then bigger, and then they go out into the greenhouse. That's the game plan. So this year, right now, these trays here are all 50 cell trays. These are 50 cell trays right here. And you can see these have been reused numerous times, getting a little bit of a mineral buildup on the edges here, but I haven't had any problems with that causing issues, so until it's an issue, I leave it. And then this one is probably one of the worst ones I'm going to pull out here. The rest of them shouldn't be so bad. But at 50 cells, when I get a seed packet, most seed packets I have can get me up to 50 seeds. If I'm buying something that's a relatively common seed. If I do something that has, let's say, it needs more space, I can do things like this, which is to get little individual pots and put them in a tray. But these are easier if I'm going to do this to start these outdoors. So these I'll start using at the very last minute, meaning maybe a week to 2 weeks before we have our last frost. Let me flip around, you can see my mug again. Okay, so what I was starting to say is that most of the things that I'm doing starting now will be with 50 cell trays, but I'm going to start probably later today, kales, onions, some colder, like, some arugula or from lettuces, chards, things that I can get a quick start on heat and then take them off of heat and put them on some of the lower stations down here with light, no heat, and they'll do fine. They'll actually probably be happier if they can get a little breeze, meaning cool, just to keep them from getting too hot. Trying to think of other things I can cover here. Most of my seeds have been ordered. I actually was placing an order. I hate when this happens. I had it all in my cart, and I guess I refreshed the page or something. I lost all the things that I had pulled apart and was going to keep. I decided I'm going to try to do dahlias from seed. I want to get them now so I can get them in the fridge to stratify them. I'm going to do lavender, lots of lavender. What else did I pick up? Oh, Bells of Ireland. I want to try that. I have a bunch of different things I buy, and sometimes I do, sometimes I trade them off for something else. Right now I'm focusing on my peppers. They're something that I want to get started. They grow a little slower, and they can stay in the cells, especially a 50 cell. They're big enough that they can stay in there for quite some time. And by the time I can put them outdoors, I can transplant them into, actually I don't have a good example, do I? Over here? I do. Okay. So this size, I think it's considered a half gallon, but it's about 5 inches or 6 inches across. This is the size, the maximum size that I use for selling when I transplant. All right, so if I take a 50 cell tray, which is going to be roughly, I don't know, maybe it's 1.5 inches, maybe it's 2 inches, I don't think so, maybe 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches by 1.75 inches, and maybe it's 2 inches deep, I don't know. That plug, when I put it into that pot with a good soil and a shake of fish fertilizer, let's see, I've got that, I see it up here, my fish fertilizer. It's just ground up, dried up fish guts, and that's it. And then put it into a powder. It smells like fish when it gets wet. Dogs love it. I had to train them not to go near it. But a sprinkle of that around the root ball in the plug, and then I transplant it into some sweet peat with some probably a little bit of peat moss mixed in. And it's off to the races. It goes into that. Starts getting watered. It's into either a greenhouse or a covered space so that it's not going to get rained on and the wind won't knock them over. And it'll grow there until it gets out of my wagon to sell. And then, we're talking by June, mid-June, I'll say maybe end of June is the latest that I have to keep something here alive. And in that half-gallon pot, most things will stay plenty fine till mid-June, end of June. It's either been sold or discounted if it's looking bad. And, it works for me. I get all this stuff off of Amazon for my scale. It makes it, I don't want to say it's profitable. It makes it fun, and it makes it worth doing. Profitable is a tough word, because if I was in it for the profits, I'd have to work at it and have more of a conscientious effort at doing the things that I need to do. and I don't put that much into it. I get slack sometimes, and have my time off. So no deadlines, no boss, nobody to answer to but myself. So that's it. We're getting things going for this 2026 season. Seeds are in and they're perking. I'm going to go now and check on the moisture level of the seeds. I used very dry soil, so I have a feeling a lot of it just got absorbed into those into the soil and those cells, and I just want to make sure there's an adequate moisture level to keep the seeds germinating. And that's it. In 3-4 days, I should start seeing some sprouts. Once I see sprouts, they come off of the heat. The heat comes off, I should say, turn it off. And the light bulbs go on, and I keep the lights maybe 2 inches. I'll cover that when I have the next video. Cover about 2 inches or less than 2 inches above the actual seedlings. So we'll show you how that goes. And this year we're going to try to prevent mold, which I get quite often. I'm going to try using hydrogen peroxide and see how that works out. Alrighty, folks, thanks for watching.